How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and once again today I bring you another Top Cut breakdown, and with the list as well included for another regional that happened here in the EU. And for this one is the one that was conducted by Raid'n'Trade, and if you don't know, if you never heard that there was one this week, like previously, because it was the last weekend we got it. I finally managed to get the lists and stuff and get the breakdown sorted. And if you didn't realise there was one last weekend, that's because it was the one that was meant to be held by Jockmock, the organizer that's supposed to be hosting our finals here in the EU, and they kept pushing it back, then they handed it off to Raid'n'Trade, who eventually then actually made it run. And it didn't get much advertising, just kept pushing back, but it did happen in the end, and it was a webcam one. It was best of one, no preside, which kind of sucks. Like, after trying best of one preside, it's so much better than just not without preside in it. So this one, it was just best of one, and also it was only 5 rounds as well. I don't know why it was only 5 rounds. I don't know if it was because it was low attendance. I don't actually get the information about how many attended. I think at the end of it there are only 32 people, so literally everybody that's finished in it got the top 32 prizing, which was kind of cool. But I don't know if it was a huge, like a big turnout and then people started dropping and it was a low turnout at the end, or if it was a low turnout throughout the whole thing. But we do have the top 16 cut as well to see what's in the top 16, and then the top 8 and the list for the top 8 as well, because there's no top cut for this, it's just Swiss. That was it, because it's webcam one. But before we do get into the breakdown and the list, feel free to like the video if you do enjoy me bringing out the these breakdowns for EU events, because as long as someone brings it out, that's the main point. And as well as that, comment down below if there's any questions you have about it, or if there's anything you want to see, like if you want me to try and find out who some of these players were, because I don't actually know the names of the players, because the only information I've got is like their initials and stuff, and I can't work that out from the names, and no one really answered when I asked who they were. So I've got the list, but I don't have the actual names of the people. I just know one because it's a buddy of mine. And so if you want to try and get interviews with some of these people, then you can always request it, and I'll try my best to try and get an interview with them. And also don't forget to subscribe as well. It keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop, like covering a lot, mainly Decklists, gameplay, and EU event coverage and stuff. And we are coming up close to 500 subs, which will trigger a giveaway as well. We'll get another giveaway, and when I get to 500 subs, I'll detail what I'll be doing when I eventually, if I get there, to my main goal of getting 1,000 subs. What I'll be doing, and you want to know what I'm gonna do. So help me hit that goal. So without further ado, let's get into the breakdown and see the list as well. So with the breakdown, here are the top 16 decks. So the top 16 leaders that we had for the Raid'n'Trade Webcam Regional. We had 6 Sin in the top 16. So a heavy amount, like, and then just under that, 5 of the SS4 Goku. So you can see once again, Red has taken up over half of the top 16. So Red is just still dominating the format in its just color, but it's not really Red. It's mainly just these two leaders. You don't see any other Red leaders doing as well as these two. It's mainly these two brand new, overtuned leaders that came in the latest set. They took 11 spots. That's a huge amount. That's almost 3/4 of the top 16, which is crazy. It's just continuing to go on, so we're just wondering if Bandai actually see this and if they're going to do anything about it. And then after that, we got 2 green decks in it, being 1 Raditz and 1 TN, and the TN as well. I do have the list, but I forgot to include it in here. But it was a T on Hirudegan. If you do want to see that, I'll try and get an interview with the person because they sent me their list, and I can get an interview with them to go over it because they did make it into the top 16 with TN with the Hirudegan chain, which is quite cool, quite interesting. And as well as that, we had 2 blue decks as well, so a bit more than what we've seen mostly when it comes to blue decks being in top cut. Like for London, there was no blue deck made top cut, and well, in top 16 it did, but not in the actual top cut. It didn't make it. And for this one, we have the SS3 Goku. So the first time I've seen it, that SS3 Goku has actually done well in the EU. Normally it does well in America. That was it. and then one of the Reboot Trunks as well. So the Reboot Trunks making top cut as well. And the one yellow deck that came in was the starter deck Yellow Kidku. So that was only one yellow deck, 2 green, 2 blue. So like green is doing a little bit better than it's not doing that too bad at the moment. But this was a best of one webcam event, and as well as that, no black decks, because black is in a really bad spot in this meta, like really bad. But that's a top 16 list, so red covering most of it, with a little bit of green, a little bit of blue trickling in, and 1 yellow. And then we get to the top 8 decks. So the top 8 changes a little bit. So we had half of the top 8 was SS4 Son Goku, so half of the top 8 top deck. It says top 16 there, I forgot to change it to top 8. But half of the top 8 were 4 of the same leader. So SS4. So once again, red taking up more than half of the top 8, and half of it exactly being one deck. And then the only sin that came out from the 6 different sins that made top 16 was the one red yellow that was entered the tournament. So red yellow showing it is the better version of red sin. And as well as that, we got the Raditz also coming. So out of the 2 yellow decks, Raditz was the green decks. Raditz was the one that made it into top 8. And then the 2 blue decks that we showed just now, where it also made it in top 8. So top 8 being mostly red, a little bit blue that people would expect to come in, and then 1 green deck managed to sneak its way in as well. And that is it. So yeah, like Bandai need to do something about these. It's not red in general, it's just these 2 decks. It's just these 2 decks are just way overpowered for the format and just crushing it and just dominating the meta. So we're going to the top list now. So we go start off with first place, and first place, if you want to guess what it was Raditz. So Reboot Raditz came in first place, going EXO, going undefeated, which many people have been questioning it, like how Reboot Raditz, people thinking it's like one of the worst decks, and going undefeated through the tournament, going through. I think he went against some SS4s, the SS3 and Sin as well. I know some of the matches, like he had like mostly red matchups. But he managed to go through with this list as well, which is quite interesting. Quite heavy on the unisons as well, with 4 9 unisons in it, but like there's quite strong unisons. And then you one of each of the fated rivals, so 1 Goku, 1 Piccolo. Just maxing out his Z deck where he can with the 3, and yeah, like quite a few things you can trigger from the drop. The Boo negate as well to just end the turn unless your opponent wants to discard 2 each time. And then heavy on the extra decks and negates as well. So that's the list. I don't really know what to say because I'm not well versed in hand destruction or Raditz. So I'm more knowledgeable about the deck, probably comment, but that is the list for the first place. And in second place we have the SS3 Reboot. So the SS3 Reboot was the deck that came in second place, and quite teched out with quite a few cards, all the way at the 52 as well. So yes, split on super combos with Zeno and the Vegeta, instead of being good because it can't control what it ramps when it uses effective ramp, because it ramps from life. So if you hit something that's not blue or something you don't want in your energy, like you hit your secret or something like that, you can get it back. But anyone with 2 split, which I don't know, I do like a 4. If I'm going Zeno, I normally like to go 4 copies of Zeno because it's just that great. Just get your energy stuff and your energy back. And I'm just so used to playing Blue Bojack as one of the few blue decks I probably use with it. So, but then a lot of teched out cards, even like some of the Android 18 never an energy for just a free cost, almost free to play essentially. Draw 2 for nothing because you untap 3 at the end of the turn. And quite a few things in teching. He also was running the SSB Goku Secret Rare, the set 1 Secret Rare, instead of Baby Hatch, which is interesting. Because it can only get up to 6 energy, so I'm not sure if that makes as much use as some other ramp decks can. But overall, just looks like standard blue, defensive blue. So we go on to third place, and third place was the red yellow Sin Shenron. So Sin being the highest placed in red deck out of it. So even though there is 4 SS4 Gogeta, red Sin was the red yellow Sin was the one that placed highest in third place. And I actually know who this was. It's my buddy Danny. He managed to go X1, so second place went X1, third place went X1 as well. With this gone red yellow, and what I mean by red yellow is it's got the all-might resistance to put so you can drop out down the 8 drop and then force that through a negate. With the 8 drop being a 30k, well 35 potentially because it can hit itself to give itself a boost. 35k triple striker with all-might resistance to essentially just push that through whatever negate left. So if you've got baby hatch or something, already go a token negate to avoid them being hit with a triple strike and go down to 1 in fear of the SSB Vegeta. You can just use all-might resistance to force it through and then put everything on it to go for a kill swing. Really nice. And it has got a nice backup in Dragon Thunder being a great 5k defense that you can play for free once you get the 3 or more energy. And then also since you got the super combo anyway in the multicolor one, I can get a few more uses of the full benefit of 15k difference if it hits a multicolor, and also the God Check land, because this one, unlike Whis, you can charge at any point essentially once you've got the stuff in the drop, which you use the super combos and stuff in Dragon Thunder anyway, to be able to check it when you need it without wasting energy resource. And he was running quite a few different techs as well, so 2 of the he's going for the Unison in the main as well. And then takes out 2 Broly, 2 Yamcha, 2 Resolve, and then 1 copy of Rage for defense as well. So scratch Danny. Then we go on to 4th place, which was the highest placing SS4 Gogeta. So out of the 4, 1 placed 4th place, so just under the Sin. And this was the list. So he had it quite teched out. I imagine because it's best of 1, he teched it out as best he could. He went for the standard 3 of the 8 drop, and then the 4 copies of the pseudo rival Vegeta and Goku, and then the one you can get loads of draw power off of. And for the other ones, the tech ones, the one that gives you a 5k boost, it's just for any Goku, any one of your Gokus there. He went for 2-2. I've seen some people go for 2-2, some people go for 3-3. Vegeta Secret Rare also playing the red black, and he also did, this is another list that went X1. And then checking it out with 1 Peel After Cunning in there for Magic Against Blue, 1 SSB Kaioken for barrier removal as well, minus some things for barrier, and an Overrealm in Dark Broly as well to go with the secret rare, and then for extra cards 2 Wolfang, 3 Rays, and 3 Testing the Opposition. So quite standard for SS4 Gogeta. And then for the next lift for 5th place, we have the Reboot starter deck Trunks as well. So this was the one that came 5th. So even though there's a lot of red in it, it didn't come as high as the other colours. Like the other colours came quite higher. So as you would expect, the next 3 slots would be just SS4, and there won't be much difference between the lists, but I'll still go over them anyway. And for the SSB Trunk, this Reboot Trunks one, it had 4 of the Kai. So not going for the one that the Vegeta unison that comes in the starter deck, went for the Kai one as well. Not sure why, because I'm not very versed in blue, because I'm not a big fan of blue. But he did have 2 of the the Majin Buu unison as well, and then as well 2 Gammas just for the cantrip that can and I think it can still use activate main. Let's have a look. Let's have a look and see. I think it's use it main. Yeah, it just can't come down from your energy, but you can still play it for 1 to get a draw, and then you can still activate the activate main. Yeah, so you can get all the benefits. You just can't play for your energy, which you don't mind really. And then went for a different split for a super combo. So 2 of the Zeno super combo, 1 of the Vegeta, and 1 of the Zamasu. So the Zamasu being a nice little tech there. And then also going for the ramp Vegeta. That's one of the ramp cards. 4 lots of prospect. Imagine because he can just awaken quite easily after, because its alternative awakening is if either player has 4 or less life or has 3 or more Z energy. So your opponent accumulates Z energy quickly against Red Sin. You can get this out. You can awaken very quickly a high life, and then having a prospect to deal with all the put a floodgate on all the decks that play big things out cheaper. And then a few techs, ones like 2 Ready Rumble, 2 Ultra Instincts, which I'm not sure if this is a great card anymore, but it could help him. Miro, even though he's not playing the Oolong, and we got Dirty Burst. And also I've been forgetting going for the Z deck. The other ones, they didn't really as much difference, just the standard blue deck with stuff at the moment. This one was running in Mai for the Trunks, and yeah, it's the Trunks list. And now we're going to go into the barrage of S4 Vegetas, Gogeta. Sorry, so we're going to go for the 6th place one. So this is the 6th place SS4 Gogeta. I think this one is Michael's, who won the London Regional. I think this was him. Also got an X1, unfortunately been the lowest X1 out the bunch, hence 6th place. And yeah, going for 2-2 split on the digging deep and searching for rivals, and as well with the taking in 2 the SB Kaioken and the 1 copy of the Unbreakable Goku. That's what I just figured the name out. Unbreakable Goku, because you can search it after Vegeta and have that for a turn. That's a good turn 1 play, and then taking in as well 1 of Open Awakening, because that's good to deal with things like Ready to Rumble, which unfortunately Vegeta Resolve Renewed doesn't hit, which is good. Or even Toppo if people start play Toppo on the list. So that was 6th place. Then we go to 7th, and not much different, or not too much difference. Just no Unbreakable, and they've gone for a 3-3 on the Digging Deep and Searching for Rivals. And as well, they are playing over on this one. That's not just the secret rare, but they also are playing 1 Shin as well, the one that can help stop, can literally prevent you when if you're going second on turn 3 from the 8-drop coming down and swinging at you, which is quite nice. It's a nice little tech. And a full 4 copies of the Adventures Advent. That's an interesting one. Most of the other lists went for like 2 or 3, and they're all also running 2 copies of Vegeta's Imposing Presence as well. And then also for the Z deck as well, there's a standard 1, 1, 1, and 4 the rush attacks. And then for going ahead into 8th place, we have quite a similar list as well. So the only real difference in the list from the 7th place was that they're running 2 After Image Technique instead of the Imposing Presence, and also they weren't running the Imposing Presence, not Imposing Presence, the Vegeta Resolve Renewed. So 2 less cards and a chain 2 different extra cards, but the rest of the deck is basically exactly the same as 7th place. Even the tech choice of these 2, and then we've also got the same with the side deck. Side deck is exactly the same as well. So that is it. That is it for the top. That is it for the list for the top 8 in the Raid'n'Trade. Red still dominating, not placing as high, still dominating as a spread, or the amount of decks in the top cut, but then not always smashing it through. Just still doing strong though, and this is something I need to sort out going into the next thing. But we don't know if we're going to get potentially an update with the anniversary box dropping, maybe that, or if we're going to have to wait all the way until set 19 and then find out if that's legal for the EU finals. But that is it for me. Remember just to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.